Hi, welcome to Autism Beyond Labels. I'm IEP Coach, and today we're going to have a conversation about IEP. As you know, it's time to wrap up these IEPs and life beyond an IEP. So today we're going to do something super cool. I'm going to get to the point. As you guys know, Project 2025 is coming, and we at Autism Beyond Labels, we are preparing parents for life beyond an IEP. So many times, if you don't know what an IEP is, it's an individual education program. And is it for children that just have disabilities? No, it's not. An IEP can be for children who are smart, even children who make an honor roll 4.5, have ADHD, have disabilities, right? And it's okay to have an IEP. Many times on a journey when we have an IEP, people get caught up in, oh, it's only for children with disabilities, and it's not. So today, wrapping this up with the IEP talk. Parents, it's the end of the school year. When you go back 2025, do you have things in order? It is time to start gearing up your letters. And you'll be like, Renata, IEP coach, what is a state complaint? Your state complaint can go back 2 years, right? A state complaint is when your child have a violation in the IEP. What are violations for parents to pay attention to? Grab your paper, grab your pen. The first one, your child's setting, their placement. Why is your child in a ESS or known as a special education classroom? Is it because they have autism? That's not the correct setting for your child just because they have the term autism. Number two, is your child teacher certified? Has your child teachers been out? Know your children credentials. Three, parents, this is crucial. Do you have your safeguards? Meaning, like IEP coach, what is that? I'm glad that you asked. This should be your safeguard, right? When you go into IEP meet, every state has one. This is like your mini Bible that's going to get you through everything, like your GPS to the IEP process. Do you have this, right? They're going to talk about who you should write, your violations, all these great things. Also, let's talk about another violation, right? You guys, listen, I am going live and I don't know why I'm nervous with this, but I'm just going to zone out and I ain't editing nothing. Another violation can be retaliation as parents. What do you have in place? So, this is a time to gear up with your state complaints. Now, with a state complaint, they're going to be briefy, right? It's not going to be one page. You should have every documentation, every date. I always talk about black and white, not race, right? I'm talking about black and white as in writing. If it's never in writing, it was never said. I will say that again. I don't care if they call you to pick up Renata from school. I don't care if they say it by their mouth. If you do not have proof in black and white, it didn't happen. Going into your state complaints, when I'm finding a lot of parents and what advocates are not telling parents is to keep their data. So I teach you how to keep your data. Every conversation, if they call you on the phone, you need to be able to go ahead and email them back immediately on your phone. Jot down notes, right? Also, in many states like Louisiana, all you have to do is let them know, like, hi, you're on a recorded line and I'm recording this conversation. The new apps they have now, they'll send a whole transcript to where you could place that in that email, and that's your confirmation of data. We have to start keeping black and white for our kids. Think about this state complaint as if you walked into Target and you purchase a $500 television, right? And they charge you twice. And when you walk back into Target, Target tell you, oh, well, there's nothing I could do about it. Would you be okay with that? That's not a great feeling. So I need you to have that same energy for your children. If you're not going to allow yourself to misharm them, do not allow the schools to misharm them. And just because you think that the schools are there to help your children, they're not. Trust no one. Verify everything. Because when it comes down to it, their job is on the line. And if who do you think they're going to protect, you or their job? So you need to think about this when you're going into your state complaint. Be mindful of who you're talking to because everyone is not your friend. they're going to turn on you. So the principal, the teachers, the principal, the admin, everyone's going to throw you under the bus. So you have to have your documentation in order. We're going to document date. I don't care if this happened. Today is December. We're going to go back and say the accident happened in April. You have to have every documentation from April, from who you spoke to, who you talked to. Everything needs to have a date and a stamp. You can't go off of, well, they have that information. Can I tell you something that has happened to me? Do you know that the school will misplace information or destroy to cover detail? Never trust anyone. And as you go into this process for your children, at the end of the year, it is time to start preparing. What is your end goal? And again, Project 2025 has been taking place in Louisiana. We are now offering, our governor is now offering children $30,000 with a disability to go into the private schools. So even if you place them in these settings, how are you going to support their needs? Many parents, another violation with an IEP, I have read many. Um, oh, IEP coach, my child made the honor roll. So the IEP team stated that, hey, we're going to take our children off of the IEP. And guess what you do? You sign and take your child off that document. Can I tell you something? That IEP is more than your child academics. I need you to think about it like this, right? If you have, I'm going to use myself, asthma, and I just stopped taking my asthma medicine, right? I had a asthma attack and suddenly I started feeling better. And I'm like, well, I don't have asthma anymore. No, I still continue to have asthma. I just didn't have that asthma attack. That's how you need to pay attention to your children diagnosis, regardless if they are making the academics or grades, they still have the diagnosis, they still have the disability. How are we going to have our child inclusive in the classroom? Who's going to read out loud to them? How are we going to make sure that we're paying attention to when they're fidgety, right? Because that is part of them. Regardless if they're honor roll student or 4.0, they still have the diagnosis, they still have autism or any disability, and do not sign that paperwork. Many parents, I know you guys did not understand a lot of things this year. And I know you're in a meeting with 6 to 8 people. That can be fearful. You feel that, hey, I don't know what to ask. Can I tell you something? There's no such thing as a silly question, because what you do not ask, remember this from my EP coach, what you do not ask, what you're afraid to ask, it may can save your child life. It is so crucial to ask the questions. I want you to think about going preparing your IEP journey or any your IEP journey. I want you to prepare. I want you to document everything. Ask questions. There's when I say there's no such thing as a silly question if you do not understand the verbiage that they're saying, such as they're speaking a language of like Bia, they're talking in that IEP jargon, and you're like new to it. Wait a minute, and they ask you, Miss Jones, do you understand what bib is? And don't say yes. Ask them, can you please explain to me what a bib is? And that would be a behavior intervention plan. And then ask them, how will this behavior intervention plan assist my child? That's another thing that a lot of parents have a myth about, that your children can be suspended on an IEP. Your child can be retained on an IEP. Does not matter what the law say. Your children can be retained if they're on an individual education program. IEP coach, why you keep telling us? Because there's so many myths that's going on and misinformation, and parents are getting caught up. When you think about this IEP journey, how I want you to think newly, right? We're going to change your mindset today. Think of this IEP as we're preparing a roadmap to your child to be independent, life beyond an IEP. The individual education program is only for educational purposes in the school settings. It's not going to protect them in the real world. IEP coach, can my children have consequences because they have autism? Yes. Did you know that with this IEP, your children can be suspended for school? Another parent can sue you if your child harms someone, right? Your child can be suspended. They can go to juvenile court. they can be arrested. See, autism is not, our diagnosis is not a reason not to teach the life skills. This IEP plan is to be able to have them independently in life. Do you think that at the age of maybe from like kindergarten through third grade, maybe it's okay for an adult to be in a class with your child, right? But think about yourself. How would, if you want your child to have friends, an adult is with them 24/7? Is that ideal for your child? Or is it acceptable to say, IEP coach, my child does need extra assistance, such as a pair with them? Well, we're going to allow this pair to push in with them in the classroom. But when they go to the cafeteria, we're going to allow them to mingle with their friends. When they go outside, we're going to allow them to go with their friends, because you have to understand we're teaching your children life skills. And not that children don't want to play with our kids. We as parents do not think about, hey, our children, we want them to be inclusive, but other kids don't want to play with children who have an adult around them all day. So we have to think about how we're going to set this plan up for them. What are you asking for? And sometimes some of the things be unrealistic expectations and fear that I'm seeing parents have. We have to allow our children to be able to try. We have to allow them to be great at what they're at. Some children may be visual learners, meaning that they need a schedule. But for your children to walk around with pet cards, why? Why your child don't have an AAC device? And the AAC device is a communication device that help your child talk. And many times the school districts can pay. Did you know that these IEPs are worth money? These IEPs cost in Louisiana $30,000 per child. Look up how much your child costs to that district. And I'm saying this respectfully because I need you guys to start taking this journey serious. I know we retain so much information. This is what IEP coach is going to guide you. One, remember I told you your safeguard, that the safeguard that I gave, that will be for my state is Louisiana. That will guide you where you need to be. Hold on, you guys. That will guide you where you need to be. Number two, right? Number two is also going to be your state website. Get familiar, for me, get familiar with Louisiana Department of Education, because did you know there are more IEP rules that's for statewide? It goes beyond the Individual Education Act. We're not going to focus on IDA right now, because when you win this state complaint, are you going to the state website? Use your state website. Everyone have it. Texas has a Department of Education. Florida has a Department of Education. California has a Department of Education. Everyone has a state Department of Education. Utilize it. Utilize your resource. Be mindful of the advocates that you hire. And I can tell you guys, such as Families Helping Families, I have dealt with them. Families Helping Families is a nonprofit that goes into the school to, quote, help parents. But did you know that that nonprofit get paid quarterly to get children off the individual education program? They're not there to help you, because if someone is there to help you, how can you work for the enemy? Be mindful of that. Be mindful of these advocates who are telling you information and it does not sound right. Question them. Ask for the resource. They should be able to guide you on learning what an IEP is one-on-one. They should be teaching you how to read an IEP. And guess what? IEP coach, I do that. We're now offering another class that's coming up. February, we're about to get ready to roll out how to read an IEP. And not only that, we're getting ready to do a state complaint. I get it. What qualified me to do a state complaint, if you guys don't know my journey? I have won 5 state complaints for my son in Louisiana, 2 OCR federal cases. I have got my son's school district, the previous district, to do an out of district transfer to another. So we have parishes here. You guys have counties, to another area, and they had to pay to relocate me. They had to pay my rent. Did you guys know that? While in this district, in a new district, I want another out of district transfer. It does not stop. You continue to fight for your child until you get what they need. It's going to be the IEP journey, the process of learning this. At first, it's going to sound like jargon, but I know I'm all over the place, but I need you guys to remember this. Learn your child. Study your child. On this journey, it is crucial for you to know your child triggers. When do they have a meltdown? Pay attention when y'all go to Walmart. Is it when you're standing in a line they cry? Is it when they get impatient when you have to wait a while? How do they handle when they see a loud crowd? Do they cry? Do they scream? Do they fall out? All of this document because it's going to help you crucial. Also, learn your child's what is their trigger, what do they like, um, what can calm them down, what is their favorite toy, what is their favorite subject, what are they great at, do they learn better by music, do they learn better by being hands-on, do learn them. And I tell you, and I promise you, this is going to help you tremendously. Do not allow the IEP team to tell you who your children are. You should know your children like the back of your hand. You should know what they like, what they don't like, what they're going to do, from the stubbornness of them. Because guess what? All children have behavior, and that's okay. All children have behavior. Our children, just because they have a disability of autism, ADHD, intellectual disability, Down syndrome, they all have behavior. All children don't like to eat their vegetables. All children are stubborn. All children don't want to share their toys, but our children, because they're on an individual education program and society is not ready for inclusion, we allow the school system to segregate our children. And that's unacceptable. Your child should not be in the special education classroom if they do not qualify. Did you know that your child must have a low IQ to be in there? You want your children in the general ed setting with their peers, with assistants. Let's have this conversation because we're preparing our children for life beyond. Why is it acceptable that we allow the school system to segregate our children? But when we go into Walmart, when we walk in Walmart, right? Everyone loves Walmart. When you walk into Walmart, do Walmart have a section that say, hey, since you walk with a cane, you on a wheelchair, you're going through this interest. And since you don't have that, you're going through this interest. They don't, right? It's inclusive. Inclusive means for all. They also tailor to everyone. Walmart do not discriminate, right? Going to the movies don't discriminate. Going to restaurants don't discriminate. We all are going to be there. We do not, that's just like, and be honest, as parents. So you said, have you ever said, you know what? I'm not shopping at this store because they on crutches. No, you adjust. You tell them, excuse me, you be kind, you speak to them. If they're struggling, you help them, right? We want the same for our children. That's what inclusive is. Inclusive is to be able so that my child can thrive in society with a little assistance. You're not asking for the world. You're not. You're not asking for them to say, hey, we're not. You're asking for things that are normal, right? That is deemed as it shouldn't cost you anything. But to put your child to the front of the class because they have a disability to stick out, that's unacceptable too. We have to figure out how can we bridge the gap. And I'm sorry, this journey is going to be a fight. There are going to be days you're overwhelmed. There are going to be days where you are tired. There are going to be days when your family don't understand. It's going to be a lonely road because no, they're going to feel that's all you talk about. But if I have learned on this journey, if it's not them going through it, they don't care. And I'm teaching parents to be proactive, not reactive. We have to stop waiting till the bullying is at its worst. We have to stop waiting until we are fed up and we pull our kids out of school and we're not following the protocol. Autism Beyond Labels, this is what we're about. At the end of this school year, moving forward, because Project 2025, I'm sorry, is here. It's now time to stop focusing on the fight of an individual education program. It's time to prepare our children for life beyond an IEP. How are they prepared? Are we teaching them how to count money? Are we teaching them how to go to the bank? Are we teaching them boundaries? Are we teaching them safety, such as safety words, stranger danger? Are we teaching them good touch, bad touch? Most importantly, in the school, are you teaching them if they're verbal or nonverbal? This is for all inclusive lesson. Do you have an AAC device that if they are being bullied, for it to say, my name is, I am a minor, please call my mom. Put that on the AAC device. Do not let your children sign a statement. Do you know that so many children are now in situations where CPS and DCF come into your home because what your children are saying and they don't know? Put that in a file in their record. The same when you go to the doctor office for HIPAA, write that letter up, put it in a file, have it on the school board, because we need to set our children up for life. And again, autism. And in the real world, I'm sorry to tell you guys, we have to start looking at what's going on. Florida has now made did a case with a young man that was in school, had an individual education program known as an IEP, had a behavior intervention plan, had a pair with him. And guess what? This child physically assaulted a teacher. Guess what that mom have to do now? They went to court. This is a court case. They tried this 17-year-old as an adult. Did not matter if he had the word autism in his name. Does not matter he had an IEP. He's now doing 5 years in state prison. And he had to do another 15 years after. We have to start preparing our children. We have to find the resource. And a lot of time our resources are not going to come by paid Medicaid. They're not. You don't have time to wait on ABA. You don't have time to say, I'm just going to wait. You have to, if your child is being aggressive and impulsive, get them in therapy. Get them in boxing, get them in karate. IEP coach, what do you mean? How does this work? Boxing teaches you critical thinking. It teaches them how to control their mind. No matter what someone is saying to your child, they must control this and this. No one can irritate them or upset them that much to be aggressive. We have to start teaching and redirecting that behavior. We can't justify it as parents and say, oh, my child have autism and you have to conform to them. No, that's not how the world works. I'm sorry. You can't say because they have autism, we uphold them in their wrongdoing. And I want you to take this matter. I want you to remember this, right? Why is it that when students bully our children or harass our kids, we go to the school and we want everything done? Now, when our child becomes the bully, doing the harassment, flipping the tables, flipping the desks, causing the scenes, as parents, we say they have autism and you should have to deal with it. Let me ask you a question. How would you feel if you have a coworker that every day you go to work, they're mad, they're slamming, they loud talking, they're flipping? Would you be okay to work in that environment? So I want you to think about that the same way for your child. If we as parents don't correct that, and that autism beyond labels, we will be preparing parents for life beyond. If you guys need assistance on how can I get in contact with you, coach? How can I get in contact with you for you help me? I'm glad that you asked. Visit our website, autismbeyondlabels.com. Schedule your consultations. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Facebook. Comment below if you like this for engagement. Stay interactive with me because we're preparing parents beyond. And again, I'm a parent like you. I took my son from nonverbal to verbal. I taught my son how to prepare for life because I knew what this journey was going to be about. I didn't have time to wait on resources. I'm from Louisiana, where, here, can I tell you guys something about the harsh truth of Louisiana? We still treat autism like the LGBT community. Parents are still ashamed to say autism. Parents are hiding their kids. We don't have resource. We don't have what's needed. So when you talk about Project 2025 and IEP Coach, how are you so comfortable with it? How can I be upset about an IEP when I was discriminated to get an IEP for my child? And I was discriminated because I had took my child from nonverbal to verbal. And the school district told me my child couldn't get an IEP because he had autism because he was verbal. That is a violation and a lie. I had to fight tooth and nail to get everything for him. So I know this journey. I know what you're going to feel. I know what it's going to feel like. I've been there. I still get angry about it. Do you know what it feels like to win for other parents in other states to get everything they need? I now empower over 20,000 people daily. And I'm fighting for my state to wake up, to come together. And in the autism community, I don't do the autism community. It's too much. It's too much back and forward. It's too much verbal, level one, level two, level three. Can I share something with you? At the end of the day, the word is autism. We all on the same journey. Does not matter the race. But then I have to be honest, it does matter the race, because when you're a minority, you're African American, you're black, your child is 3 times likely to be denied, to be misdiagnosed. The school is going to call them intellectual disability. They're going to say that they have ADHD, and they're going to label them a behavior problem. And if the school have diagnosed your children with intellectual disability and you have not taken them to a children pediatrician doctor to get an evaluation, how do you know your child have intellectual disability? So here, Autism Beyond Labels, this is what our journey is about. We're gearing parents up. We're not in the mind changing business, but we want to be prepare you to think a different way, or like the light bulb go off. Wait a minute, I never thought about that. Why I never thought about doing that? That is amazing. We also create workbooks. We have class. We have merch. I have these shirts. I have Autism Mom shirts. We have products. So make sure you guys support by subscribing, liking, sharing, comment. Thank you for watching Autism Beyond Labels, and we're looking forward to seeing you again.